Well, good morning, everyone. I wanted to get on here and do a 90-day video in anticipation for our cruise, which is November 5th on the Carnival Victory. We're going to Key West and Cozumel. It's called a Cozumel Plus trip because you get to stay in Cozumel a little bit longer than some of the normal itineraries. So I just wanted to jump on here. I'm at work right now. Gotta pay for the cruise some kind of way. But anyway, wanted to get on here and do kind of like a checklist so people can be prepared and kind of know some helpful tips or some things to do when it comes to getting ready for a trip 90 days before. So the first thing I put on my list was travel insurance. Now, it's completely optional. There are a couple different ways that you can get travel insurance. I personally purchase it through the cruise package. That way everything is connected together. You don't have to worry about sending anything additional from a different company, but it's a personal decision. They also have travel insurance through like AARP. They have it through some banks. So it just depends on what your personal preference is. I just rather have it to be safe than sorry. You never know what's going to happen. God forbid, if I've seen so many videos on YouTube and in Facebook groups where people have to get off the ship early because they're not feeling well, or they end up getting to the cruise port late and they end up getting left. You just never know. So I would rather pay that extra money to be safe than sorry. Passports or birth certificates, you should be thinking about that now. Personally, my family and I, we travel with birth certificates. I know most of you guys are like, ooh, she should have a passport. This will be our 6th cruise, and birth certificates are working just fine. Eventually, we will get passports, but at this point, the birth certificate is fine. But at this point, you should be either purchasing your passport or renewing your passport or making sure that you have everything in order with regards to your birth certificate, whether you need to go to vital statistics in your city to get your birth certificate. That way you have that, it's ready to go. It's nothing that you're doing at the last minute. If you don't stay in the port that you're leaving out of, now's the time, I think, to book flights and shuttle services. We stay in Chicago. Hey, Windy City. So we always fly into whatever port that we're going to. So now's the time to be looking at flights, making sure that's taken care of. And then if you're staying in a hotel, we always stay in a hotel the day before, so that we're there with plenty enough time. Book your hotel and book any shuttle services that you may have to do. Which leads me into my next one, booking your hotel. A lot of these port cities are very popular, like Miami and Fort Lauderdale and New Orleans. They're like year-round tourist cities. So you want to make sure that you book your hotel in enough time to make sure you're at the hotel that you want to be at, in addition to getting a halfway decent price. You can be looking into booking shore excursions or tours. This go round, normally when we're in Cozumel, we do Mr. Sancho's. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we're doing the Cozumel Plus, so we won't get into Cozumel until 12. So like an all-inclusive resort, we didn't think it would be worth it, based off of the fact that we get there so late and most of these places close at like 5 or 6, so you really don't get your money worth. And then on top of that, we're getting the Cheers package this go round. So why pay for all of that liquor and you can get on and off the ship and get your drinks? But that'll be in another video. Also, your final payment, depending on how long your cruise is. If you're doing a 6-day or longer cruise, your final payment is 90 days before you sail. If you're doing a 5-day or lower, then it's due 60 days before. So depending on how long your cruise is, at this point, your final payment would be due if you're doing a longer cruise. Also, a new feature of Carnival, I can't speak on Royal or anything like that, but a new feature is you cannot check into your cruise until 90 days before. So now that I'm at the 90-day mark, I have the ability to go online, check in. It asks you to confirm your name and your date of birth and your address. your emergency contact person. You can set up your onboard spending account, whether you want to attach it to a debit card or a credit card, if you want to use cash. It asks you for your bedding preference, if you want two twins or king combined together. It asks you for your dinner preference, whether you want to do early dining, late dining, or your time dining. And then you have to sign your cruise contract. So that's all things that you can begin at 90 days with the check-in. Oh, and you also pick your check-in time to choose what time you want to actually come into the port. So I hope these tips help. This is just like a 90-day check-in. So I will be back in 60 days to do some more checklist fun. See you guys later.